All right.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. It is Thursday, October 22nd at 6:04, and this is the Easthampton Affordable and Fair Housing Partnership meeting. So we are missing right this second Jackie and Connie, so maybe they will join us in a few minutes. Do you want me to share my, wait, let's see what's going on my computer. Do you want me to share my screen with the agenda?
Yes.
Can I do that?
I will make you a co-host and then
Disabled
you
by
should
the
be able
host.
to. Okay, so you should be able to share now.
All right. Can everybody see it?
Yep.
Okay. It's not very exciting, but at least it shows our viewing public what's on the agenda. I do not have the September meeting notes to give to you all to review, so we will have to table that until November. Jackie had typed them up and sent them to me as a Google Doc, and I didn't have permission to view them, and I waited until 3 days ago to discover that, and so that is why we don't have them. So we will send them to you as soon as we have them available, and then we can hopefully just approve them at the November meeting. Mm-hmm. So I'll start this conversation, then Jamie, you can jump in. So my understanding of the production plan is that the draft from Judy has been sent to Jeff and Jamie, and they are looking at it first, and then it will be sent to us, to the rest of the group to review. And we will have time to review it before our next November meeting, when Judy will join us. And so the November meeting, as I mentioned in that email, is scheduled for Thanksgiving. And even though we are remote, I don't think that we want to have our housing partnership meeting on Thanksgiving evening. I mean, I don't. So, so we will. We rescheduled it to November 12th, and that's when Judy will join us. Jamie, do you have anything else to add about that?
Nope, that was that was exactly the right thing. We got the draft early, like I think on Monday evening, so we had wanted time to review it and sort of just go through it once before the housing partnership saw it, just to make sure that it was actually ready that we weren't going to be wasting your time as well. Yeah, so everything's just going to be pushed back a couple more weeks, but we'll be, Jeff and I are going to make comments to the consultant, and then you guys will get the more refined and polished second draft. And like Jenna said, Judy will be at that housing partnership meeting to talk to the committee, answer questions, and get feedback directly to her, so it doesn't have to go from you to me to Judy. One of the things when I do send this out to everyone, I think there's gonna be a lot to look at, but I think one of the biggest things that would be helpful for us is to look at the data section, the analysis and assessments, trying to make sure that feels accurate to everyone, and then also looking at the recommendations and what we're doing to implement that plan. That's the majority of the plan anyway. So, and then whatever else you would see and want to comment on.
Great, hey, Jackie. All right, Jackie, before you joined, I mentioned that we didn't have the September meeting notes to review because I waited until 3 days ago to realize that I couldn't access them on your Google Doc. So we'll just deal with it in November.
Okay, sorry about that. We'll make it work.
Well, I waited until Sunday to realize that I couldn't review them. So,
oh well.
So we'll just look at them in November. Okay, Jamie, do you want to give an update on the RFP?
Yes, and I didn't know if, because you're on one of the proposing firms, if we should move that to the end of the meeting, so that way, if you need to recuse yourself, you can, but then we'll have, we can have done everything else.
Okay, that's great. All right, so the other thing that I've added as like a standing item on the agenda is advocacy updates. Just give us a chance to talk about things that have come up in between meetings. You're welcome, Kate. And I think, I mean, to me, the biggest thing that's happening right now is, you know, Brad already mentioned, is the eviction moratorium ended on Saturday. And so right before this meeting, I forwarded everybody a notice that the state had put out about, you know, what happens when you get a notice to quit, you know, giving some resources to tenants. I know that the sheriff in Franklin County reached out to Community Action to ask for some information to be able to provide with the eviction notices and the notices to quit when they actually deliver them to the tenants, which is really great. The Franklin County Sheriff is actually really great. And so that, I don't know that that will happen across the board. And so it was this document, and then one of the staff made like a Franklin County specific document that's more geared toward, you know, raft, and community action's not listed on this state document because we don't provide raft. So that's happening. So I thought we could just talk about that a little bit. I will, but my brief update on that is just from what I know from a conversation with Jen Derringer at Legal Aid a few weeks ago, is that there were 700 cases in process in housing court prior to COVID. And so those folks do not have a COVID related reason for being evicted because they were already in court. Now, they could presumably have a COVID reason now, but they weren't in court for that. And those cases, my understanding, are being processed first because they were already in process. And that the estimate for I think for Western Mass, because I've seen a much higher number for the state, is that there would be another like 3,000 filings like pretty immediately for, you know, the Western Mass region for housing court. I think on the state level, I've heard like 17,000 filings. I don't know, Kate, if you've heard something similar, but that's, so they're expecting, you know, a lot to happen in the next few weeks. Housing court, I think, is going to be pretty backed up. Everything's happening, my understanding, is via Zoom. So that's going to be an interesting exercise, especially because normally in housing court, there are lots of legal aid is there, Wayfinders and Franklin County Regional are there, tenancy preservation program is there. So people are physically at court able to help tenants when they're there. And so if you do it over Zoom, that's obviously going to be a very different situation. So I guess I'm opening it. I mean, if other people have thoughts or have heard other things of what's happening. No.
I mean, this is the first I had heard any actual numbers, estimates. So, I mean, 3,000 seems like quite a lot for Western Mass, but I don't know, maybe that's not, I don't know how many housing units we have in Western Mass, but.
I mean, I think, you know, from Community Action's perspective, we're just trying to get prepared for what we think is going to be a really busy 6 months. You know, I have a lot of concerns about those 700 households that were already in court because they don't fit into the COVID resources that are like plentiful across the state. So I'm a little concerned about some of those tenants because they, and there's also, I think there are going to be people who don't have a COVID reason who didn't pay their rent. And so those people are also going to have a hard time during this time accessing the abundance of resources available for people who have COVID reasons. Right. So, you know, those are just my feelings.
Just my own little personal advocacy. My column about the moratorium ending ran on Saturday, which was the day the moratorium ended. And then I made sure to, at least on the pages that I mean, this may not make a huge difference, but I did post information about how people can connect to programs on all of the Easthampton group pages that I'm part of. So, and if other people have other places, they can for sure steal the info that I posted and I can send it along to everyone and send that out wherever you feel like it would be helpful.
Yeah, Jackie, if you could, I don't know where your column is posted, but I would like access to that for the UMass Graduate Student Senate, because I know there's a lot of housing insecurity going on with that group right now.
Yeah.
So I want to
Okay.
at least disseminate that info to them.
I thought I sent it to everybody. Did I forget to do that?
I didn't get it.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'll send a link to it. And because I work at UMass and I have a UMass blog, I typically post my columns there so that there's easy
Okay.
access to them, but I'll for sure send it to you, Brad, and
Perfect. Thank
everybody
you.
else.
Yeah.
And I can send you guys, it's not from me, it's from Pamela Schwartz, the link to if you want to, the reason why people object to the CDC, even though a lot of people are actually protected under the federal moratorium, the biggest objection to it is just that it's it's onerous, it's not automatic.
Right.
So if you do want to utilize it though, there's just an extra step. So maybe what I'll do is I'm happy to send, Pamela Schwartz has the forms that you would do to exercise your rights under the federal moratorium. So I'll just do an email to all you guys if you want to have it.
That
The
would be
link
great.
to the CDC.
And I guess I'll also sort of ask people who, so we have a limited amount of resources, I think, on the city's website. But if there's anything that was, I think we can easily add more resources. So if anyone has any suggestions for things that we should cross post or link to, or information that we should be providing, I'd be happy to put it up if you can just help me figure out what that should be.
Well, what do you guys think about, I think that form, actually, Jana, that's probably the best succinct, the thing you just sent is probably the best. I think the thing that Jana just sent is pretty succinct. And then maybe the actual CDC form, so that if you want to utilize your, if you want to exercise, if you do fall into the federal moratorium guidelines, I could look through, there's probably some other stuff, but sometimes if you inundate people with stuff, it's too much.
Yeah.
Right. And then we will have links to the program administrator for the rental assistance program once that gets started. But in the meantime, it'd be good. I've been getting requests from people and I'm just sort of doing my best to direct them where I can. But I don't always know as much as you all. So.
There's a new link too. I used it. It's better than nothing to, it's like a search engine. Jana, I don't know if you've seen it. I have to look at what it's called. I don't have my phone up here. So that if you're looking for affordable housing, you can kind of plug in certain parameters. So I don't know if you guys, it's not, so the limitation of it is it says it's using the word affordable. So I don't know what people will think that means. So it's basically all the affordable under the technical definition, meaning like it's a lot of tax credits units, but I don't know if that would be a third thing we'd want to post. So I don't know what folks think. It's like, what do you call it? It's like a computer generated thing. I think it's I can't remember who did it. Maybe what I do, if it's okay with you guys, I'm just thinking open. I can try to find it right now and email it to you guys. I just don't know if you want it posted, or I could just email it to you, Jamie, and you decide if you want to add it as well. Just because if you're talking about eviction, then you have to talk about, well, what are the resources? What are the housing? So it's okay. It's not a bad thing. You plug in your certain parameters and it will give you a list of all the local affordable places.
Okay. Yeah. Send it along, because I can,
Okay.
even if we don't end up posting it, it's still a good reference to have, and I'm sure I'll use it. So
can you still see my screen?
I unshared you.
Oh, all right.
Sorry.
Good. I was like, I was gonna stop sharing, but I don't have that choice. Okay. It's fine.
Sorry.
Trying to think if there's Kate, is there any other advocacy updates that you want to talk about? Anything else other than this giant thing that's happening?
Not for me. I mean, I do, to be fair, some people, I don't like this bill, but there is a bill in front of the state Senate. I don't remember the number, the housing stability bill, that we could certainly talk about, that they are looking for sign-ons for, just out of objectiveness. I'm not a proponent of it. I think it will destabilize the market, the housing market, and I think it will increase tenant screening to a place where no one's going to be able to get apartments. But there is this bill in, I think it might be in the Senate right now. I'm not sure where it's, that would extend the moratorium for an extra year. So I'll throw it out there if that's something that we want to get behind. I'm not a fan of it, but I could be outvoted too.
I was just gonna try to, is it the
You want me to, look under, you would Google, it's like housing stability, I think. I just also know because Pamela is
all about it. Yeah.
all about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have personal feelings about the continued moratorium, only because, once someone gets to a point where they owe $10,000 to their landlord, there's nothing you can do for them.
Correct.
It's just too much money. So, housing stability. Yeah, I can't find it quickly, so I won't bore you all with me Googling.
But we could email, I mean, we could certainly talk about it next. I think it will
Yeah, we
probably
can talk
still
about it
be.
next time. Okay.
And then there's also the, again, these are not things, these are kind of going on. There's also the right to counsel stuff, which ended up getting included in Baker's. I don't want to say it's dead, but I don't think it needs that much advocacy, because Baker, I'm terrible with the names of things. Whatever his solution is includes money for it. So,
Okay.
but there is also a bill that's also more expansive than his right to counsel. But I think it's kind of, I think most people are just saying, okay, Baker's is fine.
Okay. Brad, I will say that, so Community Action is administering a program in Amherst, the Amherst Emergency Rental Assistance Program. And there is some restrictions on student eligibility, but grad students who are not only households made up of grad students. So if it's a grad student with their spouse or their children, then they could be eligible. So there is, I can send you the flyer if you've seen it, but we've had some grad student people approved.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, I know that right now, at least in the college that I'm working in, most of the students that are in this area live in this area. And the ones that, are from out of state are still out of state and kind of remoting from home from there. So I think it would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Oh, yes, my audio is terrible.
Yeah, like maybe like a 1 or 2 second blast that sounds like demented audio.
It's my computer. I'm sorry.
It's COVID ennui.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just in my head.
Sorry. Next time I'll use my microphone. Anything else people want to bring up around advocacy?
I recruited another member and I totally forgot to send her the information about this meeting. Darn it. So my next door neighbor, Jana, do you remember when Tony Modal was the chair of the board at Community Action? Well, his partner is this lovely woman who some of you might know. Her name's Yoshi Bird, and she actually works with homeless folks, and she's very interested in joining us. So
great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yoshi's fantastic.
Yoshi is fantastic. Yes. So maybe I'll email her right now so I don't forget to do it later. But yeah, she's interested in joining us.
Excellent.
That's great. All right. Well, if you want to talk about the RFP and I'm in your way, then I can recuse myself so that you all can. Am I allowed to know if there was more than one response? Because that's really what I'm mostly interested in.
Yeah, there were 2 responses.
Okay.
So
Good.
And now we have to, I just want to, basically just want to form a selection committee and talk about that. And, you know, at this point, I mean, it doesn't really matter, Jana, because, you know, your response is in, and it's not like you have any, you would have any advantage at this point, but.
But also, before you go, Jana, I'm sorry, I kind of missed it. So we're not for the, I mean, I was there, but I'm not following for the production plan. We don't have to do anything until we get it and Judy sits down with us for that meeting.
Right, so I'm gonna send it out. We're gonna respond to her with comments and then get a second draft. The second draft that we get, we will then forward to the committee. And once the committee gets that, you know, it'd be great if you can look through the entire thing and mark it up and have comments and questions and things ready for Judy for that meeting on the 12th. That's going to be really, I think, your opportunity to provide the substantial comments. You know, if there were things that you wanted to communicate to her before that meeting, we can definitely do that. If there were, like, you know, glaring errors or omissions or things like that that would take more time for her to do, then we'd want to know that too.
I think it's cleaner if I recuse myself. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to like seem persuasive or something. So I'll think it's easier if I just leave the meeting.
Okay.
So bye. Good night.
Very ethical of you.
Bye,
Thank
Jana.
you.
See you in
Bye.
November. Bye, everybody.
Take care. All right. So yeah, rental assistance program. As I said, we got 2 applications. One was from Community Action Pioneer Valley, and the other was from Pioneer Valley Planning Commission. I would like to, we wanted to try to get a response out to the respondees next week. We're trying to do this very quickly, given that the eviction moratorium's already ended, and getting the program up and running will take some time. I have digital versions of the responses and evaluation criteria and everything like that. And I'm looking for a couple volunteers. It could be everyone if everyone wants to. But at the minimum, I'd like one other person to because it's going to be, right now it's myself and Jeff.
So because I do sit on the board of Community Action Pioneer Valley, I don't think I should be on the selection committee. I
Yep.
think it was fine to be on the RFP kind of planning committee
Yeah.
but yeah, boop, I'm out, sorry.
Okay, well, that's good.
I'll volunteer.
That's Ken? Okay, great.
Yeah, and I will too. If you and Jeff can just provide some kind of precursory guidance to me, because I haven't done anything like this before, but I absolutely will, you know, put an extra set of eyes behind it.
Great. And Kate?
I'm just coming back to work. So if you guys want me to, if you think it'd be helpful, I will. I also have a lot of faith in Brad and Jeff, and I will, since I don't work for Community Action or sit on the board, I can tell you that I already have one of the advantages without even looking at the submission is that they're already administering the Amherst one.
Yeah.
And that they have so many resources. If they wrote it up well, that they have so many resources already. So the referral is going to be just cleaner. Like, let's say someone isn't even. So if you want me to, that's fine. If you feel like 2 are enough, I will bow out because I'm pretty overwhelmed.
Okay. No, I'm just, you know, I would like, I think, you know, you were on the RFP creation committee. So that's one of the reasons why. But also if you're overwhelmed, you know, we're looking to turn this around very quickly. So if you don't have the time, that's completely.
But can I make a suggestion on that? Because I know what it is to be overwhelmed for sure. But Kate, you had written up a really good, like, things to think about for the RFP. I'm trying to remember. You had a whole document that we should just share. with Brad and
Yeah,
Ken,
okay.
and that will help.
That's a good idea.
And that will help them to know more about what we were looking for and what we were thinking about when we put that together. And most of that's in there anyway, but there for sure were some things that we discussed that I think just sending that will help.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Um,
That would be great. Anything that anybody can give to me, I'm totally good with it. So thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So I will provide you and Ken with a copy of the RFP that went out, a copy of the evaluation criteria, and as well as a little bit of information about what we were looking for, sort of excised from the RFP, so it's easier to go back and forth to. And then Kate also has that document that she can send. Kate, I'm gonna include you when I send this out. So if you change your mind or you just want to look through it just to see what the responses looked like, you know, no pressure about actually responding, but just so it's there if you want.
Sure.
Okay.
And Ken and Brad, are you guys okay working digitally, or would you want hard copies of these documents?
How many pages is it?
One proposal is 25 pages, the other is about 10 pages. And then the evaluation criteria would be easiest to mark up in pencil and pen on paper.
Okay. I mean, I can print that off here at my house. I have a printer and I'm sure it's more than okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ken?
Yeah, I'll print it out also.
Okay.
And mark.
Yeah. All right, great. And then I'm looking to try to get these responses out as soon as possible. So I don't want to pressure
Sure.
you too much, but when do you have time over the weekend, or is it something you'd be able to get to early next week?
I could do it over the weekend.
Okay.
Have something Monday morning.
Awesome.
Yeah, basically the same for me as well. You know, I've got all of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that's completely free. So, you know, I mean, what do you think? It's probably only going to be what, like maybe a couple of hours to look through this, or?
Oh yeah, I mean, I went through one of the proposals. It took me about 25, 30 minutes. So
Okay, then yeah, absolutely. I can have everything done by Monday.
yeah, I would think, you know, you could, it'd be really helpful if while you're going through it, if you have some comments, because some of the evaluation form is like, it's graded on a highly advantageous, not advantageous, unacceptable. And, you know, if there were some comments as to like, you know, why you thought it was highly advantageous or why it was unacceptable or something like that, those types of things will help when we're actually compiling the 4 different sets of evaluations. So I don't know if it's helpful for people to see what the evaluation criteria would look like. If there's any questions now, we can talk about it, or if we're good, we can move on.
I mean, I feel like when the original RFP went out, the evaluation criteria was included, correct?
Yes.
And is it the same evaluation criteria, or has it been changed?
It's been changed slightly.
Okay.
So the first page here, you guys don't have to worry about the first page here because they both the applicants went through and submitted everything. So you could just select all the yes boxes or leave it blank. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But the second and following pages, we're asking to sort of look at what they wrote and trying to respond. I tried to make the criteria a little bit more explicit and more related to the questions that we're asking in as part of the required information. So hopefully that's clear.
Yeah, that looks pretty straightforward to me. I don't really have any questions. I'm sure I can sort it out.
And this would be the only page, these 4 pages would be the only thing that I would need back. Everything else would be just, you could hold on to, so it'd be one set of evaluations for each group.
And Jamie, would it be sufficient to just drop this off in like a manila envelope at the City Hall mailbox?
Yeah, that'd be fine. If it has my name on it, it doesn't need any other information.
Okay.
It will find its way to me.
Perfect.
Alternatively, if you had a ability to scan it and you wanted to just scan it and email it to me, I don't actually need the original.
Okay.
So whatever is
I'll see what I
easiest
can do.
for you. And then I also have a committee, sort of like a guiding document that's really just the scope of services, but without the rest of the RFP. So when you can at least go back to what was required.
So Jamie, you're going to send all of that to Brad and Ken so they can use it?
Yep.
Cool. I feel like that's mostly what Kate, was there more than that when we worked on the?
So my computer's being funky, so I'm doing this on my phone, so it's like teeny.
Yeah. Well, my suggestion would just be if you feel like there's something else, just send it to.
Where's Jamie? What's this, like this thing you're scrolling? What is it?
This is just the in the RFP, it was the scope of services.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's a pretty comprehensive thing of what we're looking at for.
Yeah, I think
the
so
general,
too.
I can go find the document, but our biggest concern was basically that it's an agency that that whoever takes it, it's not just about the administration of the funds, but really that it's an agency that can refer people to other places, and that's going to be very accessible. Like, we don't want something, and again, I haven't looked at these. One of my questions for the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission is, they're traditionally Hampden County agency. How would that look? I mean, again, in COVID, maybe they're hoping to do things online, but that we really want a place that will be more than just the administrator of this program, but also a place that if people are not eligible, they can refer
Connect.
people and help them.
Yeah.
And so again, maybe it's a great proposal, that Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, but that's why, when I heard the 2 applicants between Community Action and Pioneer Valley, and I have no ties to either of them, my first inclination is, without even seeing the proposal, is that Community Action is a much stronger organization to administer it. Just for the mere, one of our goals is that we serve as many people as possible by this program, but also by getting people to contact them about the program, and even if they aren't eligible, get some food stamps, get WIC, so I think that was to summarize what the document was about. I think we were just talking about how can we maximize this program.
Right.
And then you can look at the details for it.
Awesome. Thank you for that overview.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you guys for volunteering.
Yes, thank you.
To do this. So I have the agenda because I'm taking minutes on it, and I think we're done.
What?
Anything else for the good of the cause?
Just remember that the next meeting's out of schedule on November
Right.
12th.
Yep. And when's the December one too, folks? I think Jana said it at the beginning and I missed it because I wasn't
yes,
here yet.
That's the 7th, May? No.
I think we were going, so we would normally meet
on Christmas Eve, which is
on the
also Jana's,
24th.
which is
So we're-
Jana's birthday, by the way.
Ah.
And so then the 17th, I have a CPMA. So I think we're talking about doing it on the 10th, December 10th.
Okay. Just so I have it for the minutes. Thank you.
Mhm.
And
All right.
Brad, you said you're going to be out of the country then, but if you have internet, you'll try to join.
Yep. Yeah.
So-
I honestly, I think that the internet will be fine there. It's been a while since a hurricane's blown through, so I'm sure that the infrastructure has been repaired enough, or it will be by the time I get down there. So should be fine.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, I don't have anything more. Does anyone else have anything they want to add? Or
Nope.
great.
Brad, are you getting your public policy degree right now?
I'm doing master's in public policy and a master's in public health.
Okay. I got my master's
Cool.
from that public policy program too.
Oh, nice. Very
So,
cool. Yeah,
Anytime you want to chat, you let me know.
I'm really enjoying it right now.
Good. That's cool.
And the people are trying to already recruit me for a PhD in anthropology, so we'll see.
I can talk you in or out of that as you wish. So, all right. Do we want to make a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
And I'll second it. And everybody have a great night.
You
Right.
too.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thanks,
night.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.